Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and today we're going to be going over Becky Lynch's title run. I try to do this as much as possible. It's honestly one of those like hard videos because most of the time you don't know when it's going to happen because sometimes these title changes are just completely random, which this one kind of feels that way. But we're going to go over her entire Intercontinental title run and kind of discuss how well or poorly it did, I guess. We did this with Lyra, and I feel like this is definitely like the easiest title to do it on because for the most part, I feel like it's not always booked the best, but it is booked. So compared to the U.S. title, at least we see this Intercontinental title defended pretty often. So we'll start with the Money in the Bank, where this was Becky Lynch defeating Lyra, and this was the title change. They're back and forth that they've had matches together throughout the pretty much right after WrestleMania. It was like Backlash on were really good, and I feel like it's one of those things where they could have tried to like rotate it a little bit. I know they added Bailey to it, but I would have kept on to that because those matches were great. And this match, I think the Backlash match was the best out of the matches that they all together had, but this one was pretty close to being high up there as being one of the better ones. But I'll put it up in A. It was Becky defeating Lyra, made Lyra put the belt on, and pretty much set like her whole heel persona forward, which is like kind of a mix between like how Seth Rollins was acting, like being like I'm the best, and then on top of like what KO was kind of doing last year, where he was like kind of in a delusional state to a certain extent about how good he was or how much of a champion he was and how much everybody else was treating him poorly, I guess. Then right after that, not too much longer after that, we had the Becky Lynch versus Bailey match. This one was pretty decent. It ended up in DQ because they were having like the back and forth with Lyra being out there, and that's what eventually set up the triple threat. So it was kind of a setup match. But I think honestly, this match, if they would have just let it be a good match and just let them do it, like give them a couple more 2 minutes and finish this one out, this could have been an A tier match. But I'd put it a solid B. It was really good defense. Obviously, a DQ finish is never great, but I think it really set up the whole Evolution match, which was way more important. Honestly, the Evolution match, if it wasn't that we ended up getting the absolute banger that we got out of Naomi, Io, and Rhea, um, that was pretty much because like that was like, oh, that's going to be a great title match. And then what happened at the very end of the card was just so much bigger that you know, on hindsight, it was definitely the right call. I'm still very crazed about this card that like this didn't get a 5 star or like very close to it. Also, the Io Rhea and Naomi match also was just short of 5 stars. But this one is probably one of the better matches of like all of them this whole entire year. I think they all went all out, and I definitely put this as the S tier match. This is the gold standard of this whole entire like defense of this whole entire title so far. Like there is nothing bigger and better than this. So we get to SummerSlam, which another loaded ass card. Like this was another one that was crazy because having Naomi, Io, and Rhea actually have the triple threat compared to the Money in the Bank being cashed in. To start off the show, we knew this was going to be kind of crazy, but this card ended up being a disappointment afterwards. But this match, just Lyra versus Becky, with the thing that Lyra could never challenge her good. Again, I kind of think it just wrote Lyra into a bad spot, and I think they took too much time doing this match. It was a no countouts, no disqualification match, but I feel like they somehow just rush certain parts and then just let other parts where there was nothing. I just think the flow, I guess, was what really was all over the place. I think I would still put it in a solid B. I do think I like the Bailey match a little bit better, but out of all the matches that Becky and Lyra had this entire year, this was probably the worst one. But hey, a B in an entire thing is really not that bad if you think about how many matches they had, because they had the Triple Threat, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, and Backlash, which all are like great matches that are B or higher. So you got to applaud that this could be the two, at least the WWE, the two women that have had the best matches together, other than like Io and Rhea. Because like other than those two, like it's hard. Plus, I think this match, I felt like it was so like the no disqualification match. It was good, but then there was such a stinker with the Solo and Jacob Fatu match afterwards that like you kind of just didn't even remember this match happened because you were just like, get to the next one, get to the next one. I get this palate cleanser, get the hell out of here. but it was unfortunate for their timing. But again, I still liked it. Just it wasn't as good a quality other one as the other ones. Then we go into what I call the downhill of this title because I don't think they knew what they wanted to do here. This was this the first one? Did she face Maxine first? Yeah, she had one against Maxine first. My bad. She had a title match against Maxine where it was just pretty much nothing. 5 minute squash match. Just really wasn't much of anything. I didn't like it. I'm going to put it down in D. It just wasn't it for me. Then we ended up having her against Natalia, like Natalia coming back and being like, "Hey, I'm going out to help you, my friend out." Again, just really ended up having no heat. I feel like they should have either drawn this out in a way where like it was Natalia who got out first, and then Maxine had to step up to help Natalia. I really feel like they could have like if they were gonna sacrifice Natalia to just lose, they should have had her just get like absolutely destroyed and Becky go way too far, and that Maxine tried to step up afterwards, then failed, and then Maxine had to go back to the drawing board. So when we get the match later on, it works out. But I think it was just the wrong ordering of things. I think it just looked like nothing because basically Becky beat both of them so like clean and like just I mean not necessarily clean but just like so easy that there was just no point of revisiting this even though they end up doing it. So both go down in the D. Then we get to Clash of Paris. Easily the worst match of the card, like by far, which is kind of surprising because even the tag team match was pretty bad. The men's tag team on this card, there was a lot of matches that were kind of subpar on this card, but this one for sure was the worst on it. I don't really necessarily blame Becky. I think like Nikki Bella coming back has been great, but I think they're putting in too high of feuds. I mean, she basically lost this match, lost every other match from here, and now is getting a title shot against Stephanie. The whole thing just doesn't work for me because it just isn't what any of this makes sense to. So, based off of this match too, especially I put it down in D. Probably the worst match of the entire thing, which is kind of sad because it was on the PLE. Then we get to technically it was two matches first. First we had Maxine defeat Becky by disqualification. I think that was when either Becky hit her with the title or the countout, but I didn't want to count that as technically a title match because it was like I guess it was there, but like I don't know. It's kind of weird because they had three matches technically, and then we'll go to currently what is the WWE like what WWE Raw that just happened a couple days ago, where Maxine Dupree defeated Becky Lynch. This was definitely the better of the three matches that they had. It's kind of sad, but like it was probably the better of all of them, but it just wasn't the call. I mean, I'm gonna put it down in C. And if we really think about it, this entire title run, I'd put in a solid B. The problem is it started off so good, but then it tanked so hard at the end. And I don't really actually blame Becky for this. Like a lot of times you can kind of see where the champion just doesn't have the fame, but I think Becky was still doing some of her best work, and a lot of this is when she was with the Vision with Seth Rollins and stuff, and doing a lot of better stuff. I think the ideal fame would have been her to lose to AJ Lee. I think they pretty much just pulled the title off of her so they could put her in the War Games match, and I think this was just a dumb idea. I don't mind them giving Maxine a opportunity here, but I just think Maxine defeating Becky Lynch was not the call. Like she should have, if she was going to be in a title run later on, because this title now will be nothing on the Raw brand. They will probably do nothing with it, and it will be even worse than the US title because they really can't put anything against Maxine because pretty much everybody on the roster stacks better against her. So I don't know what they do here. I think they kind of wrote themselves into like just trying to be a nostalgia type thing. I don't know why, but yeah, I'll put the whole title run into a B. I really do feel like it could have been better. I mean, we ended up with technically 9 defenses of this title. I got 8 up here because the DQ win. I don't really know if you count that or not. I thought it was just kind of dumb to have her win, but altogether, I mean, it's been a solid year for Becky, but I really do think this kind of sucked at the end. I really feel like they should have pulled the trigger on on AJ Lee over anybody else. I think AJ winning this title, and even if she sat there idle with it and did nothing, it's still a hell of a lot better what they're going to do with Maxine. And again, nothing against Maxine. I just think she's not been around enough and hasn't built a character that is title worthy. I mean, she's a lower mid card talent, not even in the mid card, and she's defeated almost nobody this entire year to really put her in that position. I mean, just to even get the title opportunity in itself hasn't really been there. Like, if you minus like her live events that she's almost done absolutely no work that hasn't been on main event this entire year. This entire year has just been main event stuff. Even like speed stuff that she's done, and in dark matches, she just has not had it. The last time that she had a match, like a one-on-one match that wasn't for the title or wasn't against Becky Lynch, looking all the way back, it is, oh, this is really far. She had a mixed tag match. I guess her only other singles match was in 2024 for 1 minute no contest against Ivy Nile. And then she's had a bunch of this other stuff. Maxine Dupree loses to Candice LeRae in 1 minute 40. Like, this is just yeah, this is not the greatest to have it. I feel like they definitely pulled the trigger on the wrong person. But I think altogether, like I said, Becky's title run, I'd put her in a B, and we'll see what Maxine can do. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.